Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about the moving average slope indicator. It's available for free on my website and it's also on the MQL5 marketplace. I'll leave the links in the description box below and you can check it out. So let me first just start with the features of this product and then I'll go into the settings and other details. You can use this slope indicator to find the slope of a moving average for the past number of bars that you define, and you can also set the slope period. Now it will use this slope period to find out the actual angle. So if you define it as 20 bars, then it will find the slope for those 20 bars. By default it is 5. So suppose if you wanted a slope of this point, then it will check the previous 5 bars and it will find the angle for that moving average. Then it will draw a histogram based on that angle, and you can also set the slope threshold. Right now we have it set at 10, which means that if slope is below -10, in that case it will color this as red. If the slope is above 10, then it will color it as green, and everything in between the threshold will be white like this. And you can define these two thresholds in this right here, slope high and slope low. Next you can also set the slope type, and I will go in detail and talk about that. And you can see the slope visually as a histogram. So if you are only interested in the data values for the slope, then you can always keep the slope info panel as false. In that case it will not show you all of these values and it will only show you the slope histogram. Now next up, let's talk about the slope types, the different kinds of slope. We already talked about the calculations and how we get the angle for that slope. Now the problem is, in order to get an accurate angle, we need both of the units to be the same. But right now in our case we have this price as one unit and time as the other unit, which is why we can never truly get the actual angle. And also MetaTrader resizes the chart based on the price, and so the actual angle of this line, it keeps changing. So the first slope type that we have is a fixed slope, which will use the chart on a 1:1 scale, and it will prevent MetaTrader from resizing the chart. So if I set the slope type to true slope, fixed 1:1 chart, in that case this is what the chart will look like, because it will set the property of the chart to be a fixed 1:1 scale chart, and based on this MA line it will calculate the slope. Now most of us, we don't want that because it's very difficult to read the chart when it is set at a 1:1 scale, and because of that we have the second slope. Let me just resize the chart, remove the scaling. Okay, so now we have set it to auto resize based on the price. And the next slope that we have, that is the chart's current slope. It will use the current chart and it will find the slope based on that. If I resize the chart like this, then the angle of this line will change, and based on that the slope will also change. Let me refresh, and so now the slope has changed. And the next one that we have is radian slope. So if you don't want the slope to keep changing based on how the chart is resized, then you can use the radian slope. So with this slope it won't matter what the size of your chart is. If I refresh it, the slope will still remain the same. For radian slope, it just gets the value of the moving average at one point and the moving average at another point, and then it divides it with this, the time difference, and that's how it gets the radian for the slope, and then it converts that radian into an angle. So that's how the radian slope is calculated. But the problem with this is that it will keep changing over time frames. So right now, as you can see in the, let me just show you the data window. So right here we have the slope values, and as you can see right now we have the slope which is about 27 or 26 points when the moving average is at this angle. Now if I go to a much higher time frame, like let me go to weekly, then you will see that a similar line, a similar kind of angle will only give me 0.4 or 0.8. And if I go to M5, a much lower time frame, in that case the slope value for something like that will be much higher. So the final slope setting that we have, it will normalize these slope angles based on the M15 time frame, and it will use this ATR period to normalize it. So let me just go to radian slope normalized and press OK. So now, like suppose I'm on M5 and something that's like this, right here we have a slope value of something like 55. If I go to a much higher time frame once again, like weekly, then again something like this will have similar values. It won't be 0.5, 0.6, it will be a proper value. Let me look for another example, much steeper slope right here. So based on this, we can see that the normalized values will have the similar value across all the time frames, and so this slope will be much easier to use. But the problem with normalizing these values is that it can change over time because it uses ATR. So right now, suppose if I have a slope of minus 12.5, and if I get a few more bars, then that slope value, it will change slightly because normalization, it uses the past ATR values. So yeah, these are the 4 types of slopes, and you can use any of these based on your requirements, and each of these has a pro and a con. If you go through this product page, you will see what these options is, and based on that you can select the one which you like. You can never actually calculate the angle of a moving average because, like I said before, these two units are completely different. But the slope angle is just for reference because we need to sometimes know whether a particular moving average is sloping downwards, whether the trend is moving upwards, and so the moving average starts to slope upwards. So for using it within your own indicators or expert advisors, I would suggest that you use this radian slope normalized. This is the default option, and you can set the normalization by changing this ATR period and this setting. This is the actual moving average for which we are calculating the slope for. Right now I have it at 100, but you can set it to what you like. A higher moving average like 200, and let me just change this to 200. In that case, it will show you the slope for the MA 200, and you can also select the MA type by changing the method or the applied price. And like I said before, you can show or hide this particular info panel, or you can also set the positioning for this text. And all of these other settings, these are for the pop-up alerts. Basically, when the slope changes, so it goes from 0 to a positive value or it goes from 0 to a negative value, then you will get a pop-up alert. You can always set this to false, and you can also get push notifications or email notifications. But this indicator is mostly useful in your own custom indicators or in your expert advisors to know basically the direction of the moving average and the trend in which the price is currently. Just go over this product description and it will show you in detail how it works exactly. And I also have a MetaTrader blog post showing you the exact same things. And right here is the MQL5 product page. So yeah, please check it out and just leave me any comments if you like. And if you like using this product, please leave me a review. I would greatly appreciate it. I would really like to know what you think. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a nice day.